I would rather share my country with someone who crossed rivers and deserts to be here than someone who won't even cross their own street to help their neighbor. Listen to it again.
In all of my years living here in the United States, I've never seen anything moving faster or being built faster than the alligator Alcatraz. I mean, when I first moved here, it was a huge culture shock that everything took so long. If you want a subway, that takes 12 years to build. If you want a new bridge, that's like 8 years. If you want to renovate your house, that's 2 to 3 years. If you want to see a doctor, that's 6 months. If you want a haircut, that's 4 weeks.
No, because why is it that when our conservative politicians use our tax dollars to menace people and cause suffering, their constituents are like, our God is an awesome God. Oh, this is a great country. And then when a progressive candidate comes along and they're like, I want to use our tax dollars to make your life better, they're like, that's the fucking Antichrist right there. That is the goddamn Antichrist. And
The complexity of the American politics is very interesting. And looking at the people who voted for Trump, they are thinking that they won't be affected by any bad decision that is taken for their country. Before, when we were learning about democracy, we were told not to speak about our political stance publicly. Even after votes, you are not even before, after, you are not even allowed to say the person you will vote for or the person you voted for, even after election. But looking at how the people who voted for Trump think that they will have this special treatment, and they just take a blind eye to everything that is wrong about their government, is something that I've not been able to understand this far. The example is this lady right here. She was all over the internet laughing about the people who will be turning delegate ultrasound. And then when it was her turn and she was drowning in Texas flood and the government was quiet, she woke up to the reality that, yeah, we will face the same struggle regardless of how we voted.
What you gonna do, crybaby? With alligator
Alcatraz march if I want to. And what you gonna do, baby? I'm gonna tell you F.A. and F.O. Okay?
For a concentration
so you
camp.
have the day you deserve.
A few moments later.
This is crazy. I know we're not Kirk County. I know we're not Kerrville. I know we're not San Angelo or San Antonio. But hell, we're human beings. Help us. We need help. Get me the media. Get me some official. Get me water. Get me anything we need, please. We have nothing. For God's sakes, Travis County, help us. Don't treat us like we're nothing out here, because we're not. We're human beings. We pay taxes out here. Don't treat us like this. I'm going to tell you F.A. and F.O. Okay?
Texas is now actively denying and rejecting help for its own people, because on Saturday, July 12th, they told all of the firefighters that came from Mexico to go back and leave because of bureaucracy and permits, and I'll let one of them tell you in this video.
Bueno amigos, pues nos acaban de informar que muchos de las brigadas que están aquí trabajando tienen que regresar debido a temas burocráticos, permisos y todo eso, ¿no? Y bueno, pues prácticamente nos estamos despidiendo de ellos porque Topos Azteca se queda. Al final todos ellos estuvieron trabajando, muchos de ellos con sus propios recursos. Y bueno, pues es una despedida muy emotiva. Pero bueno, al final la misión tiene que continuar.
These firefighter teams are specialized in search and recovery efforts for flooding specific to rivers, and now they're being sent back despite being one of the first to jump into action. They were not expecting this. They were going to stay as long as they needed to until the job was done, but now they're being told to leave. Mind you, they came here with their own equipment and their own supplies, and they were doing this all for free. They weren't going to send an invoice or a bill to the state of Texas charging them for their services. The only ones that are staying behind are the Topos Aztecas, but they're trained in search and recovery. They're not trained like these firefighters were in water rescues, and there is more rain forecasted for the Hill Country area in the coming days. So here is an example of the Texas government rejecting help for its own people simply because it's coming from Mexico.
So it's official. We've had our first ICE raid casualty. Jaime Garcia has passed away. And if you're unaware of who this man is, he was a farm worker on the farm that was raided recently in California. And if you've seen videos of that particular raid, you will know it did not go well. This man fell 30 feet and injured his skull severely and broke his neck. They were expecting him to survive, but unfortunately he did not. He has a wife and a daughter in Mexico, and the only reason why he was in the United States is to earn money to send back to them. So now a family has not only lost someone they truly love, they also lost a source of income. And now the pot boils over. This event will be one of the checkpoints of this horrific event happening to our country.
In all of my years living here in the United States, I've never seen anything moving faster or being built faster than the alligator Alcatraz. I mean, when I first moved here, it was a huge culture shock that everything took so long. If you want a subway, that takes 12 years to build. If you want a new bridge, that's like 8 years. If you want to renovate your house, that's 2 to 3 years. If you want to see a doctor, that's 6 months. If you want a haircut, that's 4 weeks. I mean, everything just takes so long. I was on a waiting list for like 5 years for a spot in the parking garage for one of my corporate jobs in the past. The day I got my parking spot was the highlight of my career. It took 11 years for people to replace the pipes in Flint, Michigan because of lead poisoning. I don't even know how long it took to build the alligator Alcatraz, but it can't be that long because he's only been in office since January. Doesn't that tell you a lot?
Hey, what are they hiding in the parts of alligator Alcatraz that they wouldn't let the politicians tour? Because the parts that they saw and reported on were pretty damn horrific. So what is it that they're hiding? What could they possibly be hiding? We have some really awful and horrific breaking news that just came in, giving us more information and updates on alligator Alcatraz. So as we know, over the weekend, lawmakers were finally allowed into alligator Alcatraz, but for some reason they were not allowed to visit the areas where migrants are currently being detained, but instead were shown cells not in use. Which now makes the most important question to me, what are they hiding? Because that is someone who is hiding something. Well, whilst they were there, they heard people shouting for freedom, claiming that they weren't criminals. Well, perhaps that's part of the reason why it's now been released that almost a third of the people there, hundreds of people who are detained there, have no criminal charges. Despite the claims that these are the most dangerous criminals on the planet, they have no criminal charges. But the description is that they're essentially packing them into cages, wall-to-wall humans, 32 detainees per cage. They're so bad that they're refusing to even refer to them as proper jail cells. There were previous reports of worms or bugs being in the food, and they're saying the quantity of food they're giving them, they don't understand how it could sustain them or leave them not hungry. And there's not enough facilities to maintain sanitary conditions. They can't wash their hands. One man had to wait 6 days before he could shower. Make it worse, they're living in tents that get very hot. There's not enough food being served to them, and people are not getting their medications. Each cage had 3 very small toilets, and they had to share that same water for their drinking water and brushing their teeth, although I'd be shocked if that's getting done at this point. And they were given a BS excuse that never applied to any other facilities before as to why they couldn't inspect the medical areas. And given the fact that reportedly no one's getting their proper medications and people are getting sick in there, I think we can connect the dots with why that is. I get that cruelty is the point here, but this is horrific. This is inhumane. You shouldn't even really be treating criminals like this, let alone people who don't have any criminal charges.
Love is all that matters, okay? Love and kindness and empathy. MAGA is destroying themselves from within without even any help from the left. It's actually a beautiful thing to see. I do believe that good actions will equal good rewards and bad actions will be bad rewards. What we're seeing is what happens when too much hate rottens a heart in terms of whether it be deporting people that are just working in a field whether it be going after people's rights that have existed for 50 to 60 years, they will eat themselves up from within. The antidote is love, kindness, and empathy. And when you start to think with love, kindness, and empathy, it's contagious. It has a contagious action. It affects everyone in a great way. You know, when you're kind to somebody, that person most likely is going to spread that kindness to somebody else. And so when we treat each other with love, it has a lasting impact on society, the country, the entire planet. And I believe that this stuff is just temporary setbacks. I don't think this is going to be permanent. There's no way, because when people actually see what happens to themselves in terms of losing healthcare coverage, in terms of, God forbid, not being able to get an abortion to save that person's life, the mother's life, these kinds of things will have consequences. And, you know, Christianity, churches were never supposed to be involved in politics. They were supposed to be separate. And there's a good reason behind that. But now it seems that the government officials that are currently in charge want endorsements from pastors and their churches. Oh, it's okay to politically endorse a candidate. You know, what Christ said in terms of the government was, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. That means paying your taxes. That's pretty much what he said. Government was never supposed to be... Jesus Christ and his teachings have been hijacked by so many radical people that aren't really Christians, that claim to be Christians, that it's blasphemous. It's blasphemous at this point against Jesus. These people that claim to be men or children of God, 80% of them aren't. They're liars. They're deceivers. It's sad because Christ, in dying for everyone's sins, is the most beautiful story in the history of mankind. And they have taken and hijacked it. These radical, right-wing, fascistic type of people, the Project 2025 people. But we will see, and the Bible speaks about this, you know, good will triumph over evil. And I think that that's starting to happen now. I'm optimistic. I'm not going to be a pessimist. I'm not going to sit and bitch in a corner and cry because nothing will get done. I do think things will happen. I think we're starting to see them happen right before our very eyes. There's something to positive thinking that does help you get out of that rut. Because if you keep thinking negatively, you're going to stay negative all day. But what you have to do is manipulate yourself and purposefully put positive ideas in your head so you can overcome these obstacles and know that it's going to get better. And it actually will start to get better. It's actually doing it, making yourself do the things you don't want to do, saying the things you don't want to say. You know, how often do we misjudge a meal and how tasty it can be, or the air and how good it can smell? The little things, we take the little things for granted. There's nothing like smelling fresh air, fresh flowers, eating a good meal, drinking a good drink, having a good workout, and that feeling of the post-workout. We will get through all of this. I am confident, and we will teach the world a lesson that history does repeat itself. Those who forget the mistakes of the past are doomed to repeat them. That's the old saying. And I think we're going to start to see that now.
I'm Chinese. I know there was a big flood in South Texas. Trump said he can't do anything, but the Mexican people are helping the neighborhoods. We Chinese respect that a lot. People should help those around them. But I want to ask Trump, you pushed away so many Mexican immigrants, and now they are helping you. Don't you feel ashamed? Stop playing golf. The whole world is watching and laughing at you.
At this point, somebody needs to say it. If you're still a Trump supporter, today, July 12, 2025, you can't call yourself a Christian. You are not a Christian. And no, I'm not talking about right-leaning people or conservatives. That's not who I'm talking about. I'm also not talking about people that voted for Trump because they felt for it when he waved around the Christian flag, but now they realize their mistakes. That's not who I'm talking about either. I'm talking about the people who have seen the pain that this man is inflicting, and they're still choosing to support him boldly and proudly. That's who I'm talking about. Because believe it or not, you can be right-leaning and disagree with everything that this man stands for. But if at this moment you're still strongly pro-Trump. Come on now. You're not a Christian. Because where's the love? Where is the love? You are not a Christian. I don't even know who is willing to claim you into their religion, but it's not.
It's so unfortunate that leaders who claim to be Christians haven't been the best leaders, and they're bringing confusion. It should be legal for politicians to associate themselves with religion, because they're really portraying Christianity in an image that it's not. Because we know if someone is a Christian by their action, not what they claim to be. This is the difference that we should make. Politics and religion, I don't know, I don't even see where they meet. With what people claim to be politicians who say they're Christians, I don't really see why it meets, because most politicians are liars. And lying is not part of the Bible. They are not loving, they are not inclusive. And God is love, and Christians are meant to emulate Christ. And his love is kind, is patient. He has all the good values that we need in this world. But unfortunately, those who claim to be Christians have failed God. They are not living out their Christianity. They are not acting as Christians. And if someone is not acting as the Bible instructs, then they are not Christians. Let us not confuse things right here. That was my take on this. We all have to know that we will be faced by the same challenges as a people, because nobody is superior to challenge. Challenge will hit you, either you are a Christian or not, either you voted for Trump or not, especially Americans who are feeling like they're superior because of how they stand politically. But yeah, it's life. And if we're able to confront life challenges collectively, it's where our solution will come from. It's where our salvation will come from. So that was it about this video. Like the video, subscribe if you're new here. I'm glad that you watched to this extent. Goodbye for now. Appreciate you.